burying a shipping container bunker, the most dangerous prepper mistake in the UK. Right then guys, there is a video doing the rounds right now, well, in fact there's more than one, but this one's got millions of views on it. A bloke in America, he buries a 40-foot shipping container in his back garden, welds a door onto it and stacks it with tin food and water, and then he calls it a bunker. Yeah? Now thousands of people in the UK have watched that video, and some of them are planning to do exactly the same thing. Some of them probably already have. So today, I need to talk to you seriously, because burying a shipping container in Britain is not a survival plan. It's one of the most dangerous things a prepper can do, and almost nobody in this community is being straight with you about it or why. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what happens to a buried container in British soil, structurally, chemically and legally, and what an actual underground shelter in this country looks like. Now, I get the appeal, I get why everyone's doing it, I get it, I genuinely do. I understand why this idea is so attractive. You can pick up a used 20-foot shipping container in the UK for somewhere around £1.5 to £3,000. It's made of quartz and steel, it weighs over 2 tons, it's weatherproof, and on the surface, it looks like exactly what you'd want to shelter in. The prepper forums are full of it, YouTube is full of it, and every single one of those videos is filmed in America, where the soil is different, the laws are different, and the building conditions are completely different to what we have here in Britain. Now, what I'm going to show you today is not a matter of opinion. These are engineering facts. They're documented chemical hazards, and these are real UK planning laws, and I want you to hear all of them before you spend a single penny. Because here's the thing, in a shit hit the fan scenario guys, the threat isn't only out there. Sometimes the biggest threat is the shelter itself. Okay, danger number one, the roof collapses. So let's start with the one that kills people the fastest. Shipping containers are designed and engineered specifically to be stacked on top of each other, yeah? At 4 corner posts. That's it. That is the only structural load they are built to carry vertically, the corner posts. Now, what happens when you bury one? Okay, you're applying lateral pressure, that is sideways pressure from the soil against the walls, and you're applying a downward load across the entire roof panel, not just the 4 corners. And this is a critical bit guys, that roof panel is not structural, it is not designed to bear weight. A standard shipping container roof can hold about 300 kilograms per square metre, max, and that's under ideal conditions. Now, 1 cubic metre of British clay soil, the kind that most of us have in our back gardens, weighs approximately 1,600 kilograms. So you bury that container under just 1 metre of soil, 1 metre, that's barely 3 feet, and you've just placed over 8 tonnes of load across a roof that was never designed to hold it. Yeah? Now, in dry American desert soil, this process is slow. The container might last years before it shows signs of a failure, but in the UK, in our wet, heavy, clay, dense British ground, this process accelerates massively. The soil expands when it's wet, it contracts when it's dry. It heaves in frost. Every single season that container is underground, the pressure cycles are working against it. Now, builders and engineers who've looked at buried containers in Britain have documented wall buckling within 18 months in a clay-heavy areas. The roof goes next, and when that roof goes, it does not give you warning, it does not creak and groan and give you time to get out. Steel fatigue is silent right up to the moment it isn't. The lone wolf dies first, the unprepared shelter kills second. Danger number 2 then, what's already inside the container? Right, let's talk about something that almost nobody mentions, and this one is generally frightening. Do you know where most used shipping containers have been before they end up in a container yard? They've been on a cargo ship from China, from South America, from the Southeast Asia, carrying electronics, furniture, textiles and agricultural products. Now, to prevent insects and pest contamination crossing international borders, these containers, they're regularly fumigated. The chemical most commonly used for decades was methyl bromide, a highly toxic pesticide that penetrates wood flooring, insulation and the container walls themselves. It doesn't just evaporate, it off-gasses, sometimes for months, sometimes for years, and in poorly ventilated spaces too. There are documented cases of removal men being hospitalised after spending time in poorly ventilated containers, cases of workers losing consciousness, and now guys, imagine that container is sealed underground. You've got your family inside it, no fresh air exchange, the off-gassing concentrates, and you've got no idea it's happening because methyl bromide is colourless and odourless. Now, when you buy a second-hand container in the UK, you are not given a fumigation certificate as standard. You're not told what it carried. You're not told what it was treated with. You're handed a key and a receipt. That is the chemical reality of a cheap used container in Britain. Danger number 3. British ground will drown it. Now, this one is specific to us in Britain. We are a wet island. Annual rainfall across most of England is between 600 and 1,000 millimetres per year. In Wales and Scotland, you're looking at twice that in places. Now, shipping containers are not waterproof when buried. They're weatherproof above ground, meaning the joints and seals keep rain out when the container's orientated correctly, and water can drain away. Now, the moment you bury it, you reverse all that. Water percolates down through the soil and accumulates around the container. It sits against the walls, it finds every weld seam, it finds every rivet hole, and it gets in. Corten steel is corrosion resistant, not corrosion proof. In permanently damp British soil, you are looking at active rust forming on buried surfaces within 2 to 3 years. Now, combine that with the structural pressure we talked about earlier, you've got a weakened, rusting roof under 8 tonnes of wet clay. Do you see where this is going? And let's not even get started on what happens in a flood event, which, given the trajectory of UK weather patterns right now, is not a hypothetical, it's a reoccurring reality in large parts of this country. A buried container in a flood zone becomes a sealed metal tomb. Now, I want to stop here for a second because I know what some of you are thinking. I've seen containers reinforced with concrete, I've seen people do it properly, and yes, there are people who've done this correctly, but correctly means pouring a reinforced concrete internal shell. It means proper drainage channels, professional waterproofing, structural engineering assessment, ventilation systems, air filtration. And by the time you've done all of that in the UK, you're not looking at £3,000 anymore, you're looking around 30 to 50 as a minimum. And at that price point, there are far safer and more effective options available to you, which I'll get into in a moment. But first, let's look at the legal problem. Danger number 4. The law will find it. Now, in the UK, burying a structure in your garden, any structure, almost always requires planning permission, not just building regulations approval, planning permission. A shipping container buried underground constitutes a significant change of use of land and a permanent structural installation. Your local council will classify it under permitted development rules, and in most residential areas it falls outside permitted development entirely. Okay, here's the scenario nobody wants to think about. You spend almost 15 grand, you dig the hole, you bury the container. Your neighbour notices because they're so nosy in the UK and they're going to notice. They report it to the council because why should you have something nice and they don't? Planning enforcement visits. They issue you an enforcement notice requiring removal. Now you're paying to dig it back up, cut it apart because it's not going to fit in the way it went out, and dispose of it, all while living in a garden that looks like it's been through an artillery strike, and that's the best outcome. If the container has caused damage to underground utilities like gas pipes or water pipes or drainage, you're looking at civil liability on top of everything else. The rule in the UK is this: before anything goes in the ground, you talk to your local planning authority first. Always, no exception. So what actually works in the UK? Right. What does an actual underground shelter look like in Britain? Because here's the thing. Underground protection in the UK is entirely achievable. It just doesn't look like what you've been watching on YouTube or on your American TV shows. Option 1. A purpose-built concrete shelter. Companies like Kelowna Shelters and Atlas Survival Shelters, and I'm not associated with either of these, ship prefabricated and reinforced concrete shelters that are engineered specifically for burial. Rated for lateral soil pressure, waterproofed at the factory with ventilation systems and proper egress built in. In the UK, they start at around £20,000 installed. And yes, it sounds expensive, but it's not going to kill you, is it? So, there you go. And it's not going to rust either. And it's designed for exactly this purpose. Option 2, a strengthened cellar. If you already have a cellar or your home's foundations allow for one, a reinforced, properly waterproof cellar with a secondary access point is your best option in Britain. It's legal, it's above the water table, and it is already structurally integrated with your home. A cellar hardening project can be done incrementally for £5,000 to £15,000 depending on scope. Option 3, an earth shelter room, not fully buried, but built with a slope or bank, with soil banked up on 3 sides. This reduces the structural loading problem almost entirely because the downward load isn't there. It's far more achievable on a normal residential plot, and in many cases falls under permitted development if it's done correctly. Now, none of these are as cheap as a £2,000 second-hand container. That is true. But here's what I keep coming back to, guys. A shelter that kills you in a collapse scenario is worse than no shelter at all, because at least without shelter, you still think about the other options. Now, the shipping container bunker idea spread because it looks good on camera. It films really well. A crane lowering 2 tons of steel into the ground is dramatic. It gets clicks. But in the prepping community in the UK has a responsibility to each other. And that responsibility is to tell the truth, even when the truth is less exciting than the video. The UK ground will crush it. Chemicals inside it will poison you, the water table is going to flood it, and the council are going to make you dig it up anyway, and the roof is going to come down if they don't. If you're serious about underground protection in Britain, and there are very good reasons to be, then do it right or don't do it at all. Now, I want to know where you are in this. Are you currently planning a shelter build? Have you already got a container? Drop it in the comments below. You don't need to be specific, and tell me what type of shelter you're considering, because the ground conditions where you live change everything about what's actually safe to build. I'll be going through the comments and replying to the most common counties in this thread. And no, I'm not just being jealous, guys, because I'd rather have one in my back garden. I know that I wouldn't get as many clicks or as many views watching this video as what I would have if I literally had got a crane and lowered a bunker into my back garden. But this video, guys, this video is about safety and doing what's right for you. Stay safe, guys, and enjoy the next video on your screen right here, right now.